just a hack. It's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Welcome back to Hack City. I'm Joe DeLeone here, as always, former teammate, former roommate from the University of Rhode Island. We are recapping action from FCS Football Week 1, coming immediately after the outcome of the very unexpected blowout between Jackson State and FAMU. We're going to be talking about a couple of these key games, also some quick takeaways from the week, the games that we're going to be covering: William & Mary versus Campbell, North Dakota State versus Eastern Washington, and then, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about that Jackson State versus Campbell game. Sean, I know that we literally just did the live stream for the FBS games, but how are you doing?
Yeah, man, doing good. I love when my computer resets, and I love when I shake my mic so violently that I got to make sure my XLR cable is back in. Thanks, Baylor. Hopefully, I don't know if any.
Wait, I'm cutting you off. You're not. I'm not letting you get worked up again. Ruin the tone of the show. We're in a good mood here.
Jackson State hurt me today. Jackson State hurt me.
Did you bet on them?
No, I picked them in FC estimates.
Oh,
and you flip flopped, I think, and took FAMU.
I did flip flop.
You're a coward. I don't know if I can allow flip flopping. You're a coward.
My shoulder just popped. That was weird.
Nice.
I did flip flop,
So
and it was that felt really weird. My nerve in my shoulder just popped. That was really weird. I did flip flop, and I'm glad that I flip flopped. And I was right. I actually checked this. I thought I ranked Jackson State at the beginning of the season. I'm glad I didn't. FAMU deserved to be ranked, and I think that might actually move them up in my poll because of the way that they played.
Yeah, I mean, we're submitting or tallying our new rankings tonight after this.
Yeah,
not going to bury the lead of the poll show or the ballot show, whatever we're calling it, because we still have to do that. But Jackson State might be in the chopping block. You got to make it more competitive. 28-10 is tough, especially after week 1 or week 0 when we were like, yeah, look at this. And now it's, I don't know. What happened? Why'd this happen?
Yeah, they looked so good against South Carolina State. We're going to get to that in a second.
That just might be the season for them.
I'm hoping that they can rebound, and that was just a blip on the radar for a rocky game. There was some special teams woes. Man, it was. We're going to talk about that in a quick second. But before we do, though, can you just quickly share with our listeners a word from BetOnline?
Yeah, I'd love to. BetOnline, that's where you should be placing your wagers. Don't talk to me about your golf bets. Don't talk to me about your soccer bets, your baseball bets. Maybe we can talk when the playoffs start. Maybe you can sneak a word in on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But it's football season. We're talking football betting. Don't bother me with the other stuff. Don't tell me that some teams in the NBA are starting their preseason this month. I saw you trying to do that. I don't care. Football season's here. Tell me what bets you like for the week. I'll take them all. I like it. I like hearing what our listeners are taking, especially if they're taking them at BetOnline. You get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football. That they have all the sports if you like that, but if you're listening to this show, football. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV. You should know that by now. For your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Don't talk to me about Everton versus Man City.
Oh, yeah, get that out of here.
Don't do it. I don't care. I don't care. Tottenham Hotspur, don't care. Nowhere near my realm or circle of attention.
You need better friends. We, though, are paying attention to. We're talking about FCS football here on the show. Quick notes, though, to start off, and we kind of usually do this where peek at the box scores, the games that we maybe didn't get eyes on, but just a quick thought here on a couple of things. One, Nichols plays I can't talk. Just did 2 shows in a row. Nichols played Sac State really close, 42-38. That was not an outcome I thought was going to happen. I don't know if I might bump down Sac State a little bit. We'll see, but that was pretty unexpected.
Yeah, it was a hard game. Nichols went out and played like they knew they were trying to prove something against a highly ranked team from the media. I mean, turnover, Pat McQuaid threw a pick. He's still, you need more completions. He was 15 for 29. They ran the ball okay. Nichols did 97 yards, but Sacramento State picked up where they left off with their rushing attack. Carried the ball 49 times for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns. Their average a little bit lower than normal, 3.8. But Sac State is. I don't think I can move them that much. They had a good game.
Sean, again, I said this in the offseason. I love when I say we're going to quickly go through these, and I got the full game recap. I love it. Thank you for giving me the full.
This next one is going to be more fit and full than the previous.
Rhode Island almost upset Georgia State, and they were robbed on a very late measurement by the chain gang. I don't know. That one really stung. They covered, and they played really well. They made a couple sloppy mistakes, and I think they could have been better in some key spots. But nonetheless, hard-fought battle. Sucks to see them lose.
Yeah, I was on a group FaceTime call with some Rhode Island football players and teammates because Joe decided he was done talking to me on the phone. So I got the crew together. You were
spoiling the Florida Utah game. I thought
streaming was better.
Why wasn't I invited onto this?
Because you hung up on me. You said you didn't want to be.
I said I'm going to watch this game. You could have still texted me and said, "Hey, you want to get on this FaceTime?" Now I see how it is. You don't like me.
It was me, Keith, and Miles, and then we were just watching the game, having a good time. Maybe don't hang up on your friends because cable's better than streaming. It's
fine. Some of the older players that we didn't play with reach out to me and text me, so I was talking to them during the game. So that's
yeah, Anthony Garrow.
No, I wasn't talking to Anthony Garrow. I was talking to some other people that you don't know.
Who are you talking to? Don't worry
about it. Don't worry about it.
No. Who are you talking to?
No. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I was talking to my guy Rodney, man. I was talking to Rodney. You don't know Rodney. I met Rodney this offseason at the Senior Bowl. He's a former Rhode Island football player. Me and him talk all the time. We were texting.
The hell is Rodney?
Rodney Chance. He's an agent. He's in the sports business.
What class was he?
I think he was 2 years before us, before we even got there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can have Keith and Miles.
I will.
Enjoy
Rodney.
The next one, pray for Portland State. I wrote this down very succinctly. Man, that was brutal. 81-7 against Oregon. Holy crap, that was a beatdown. No other additional thoughts.
First Portland State mention on the show. Tough one to be mentioned for. 81-7. I mean, also, you could fill in a couple other teams for the beatdowns, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Morgan State stuns Richmond. I said this going into the season that Richmond, oh my God, long touchdown for LSU to start the game. Oh no, he got pulled up. I'm sorry. This is a terrible idea that we're recording this while this game's going on.
It's all good.
Morgan State comes out swinging and really stuns Richmond. I said that they were overrated. 17-10 victory. Heck of a performance by that team. Really, really big win.
Yeah. You can't lose to Morgan State if you're Richmond. And if that sounds harsh to the Morgan State fans and the inequities of FCS football, so be it. If you're Richmond and people are believing in you and you've had success in the past, you don't lose to Morgan State. You don't do it. You lose to other CAA teams. If you're going to lose to a team in Maryland, you lose to Towson. That's who you lose to. You don't lose to Morgan State. Don't do it. You should never lose to a team where I played travel baseball games at their campus. If I was on your campus and I was playing travel baseball games there, you should beat that team.
That's
VMI.
New take.
You should beat them. Look, all over the place. These are teams you should beat.
That's a new take, not one that I was expecting. Austin P, man, this is partially a victory lap. One of those teams that people are like, hey, why didn't you rank them? Oh, they lost 49-23 against SIU. Austin P is not very good. They also should not move up. It's not a move up team. That's a team that stays at the FCS.
Yeah, the Sock Lukey's strike early. Have you been getting tagged in that yet this year?
Not yet. I am waiting for it.
Let's get that going. Because Joe is there's gonna be a game where Joe picks against SIU, and I like that bit because it's just the revenge of the Sock Lukey.
Last one, something that I'm currently going viral for. Idaho State had the most hilarious. They played a really good game against San Diego State. One of the most hilarious things ever. They tried to post a highlight from the game. They since took it down, but the screenshot lives forever. They posted a highlight from streameast.io. The funniest part about this is I posted this And, I got like the Sickos committee and the Reddit CFB quote tweet from it. But one of the first 5 people to like it was Coach Eck, Idaho's head coach. I was like, what? Coach Eck, what?
He didn't know. He did. There's no way. Look.
Nah, Coach Eck was getting a laugh out of that. That is
hell?
Hilarious.
You gotta have an infrastructure. You gotta have an infrastructure. You gotta have somebody with the actual stream of the game. You almost have to credit Stream East for being able to pick up that game themselves.
It was on CBS. It was on CBS Sports. It was watchable game. The problem is if you don't have access to the game, don't post clips. Just post updates on the game. That was the mistake that they ran into.
Yeah, you got your mouse cursor on the middle of the field. People are going to be able to deduce it pretty quickly. We're out. It's just only college football that happens.
No shot at them. I just thought that was just so perfect. That was so perfect for the start of the FCS season. All right, let's talk about these big games. First off, William & Mary versus Campbell, 34-24. I think this score is a little deceptive because I watched this game, Sean, or I watched the recap of this game. William & Mary this game was close at the beginning. It was like 14-14 at one point, and then eventually they pulled away. They had some really nice red zone touchdowns. They had a lot of big splash plays. They had this really fun play where Yoder took a snap, in the Wildcat direct snap and just rammed it right up into the end zone. Heck of a play. That was fun to watch. And they were up 34-17, and then there was just a late garbage time touchdown. So, it looks like a 10-point game on paper. It looks closer than it was, but this was a pretty defiant, easy victory. William & Mary's not we're going to hang 50 on you team. We're going to grind you out, and they scored a late touchdown against probably some backups. So I'm not worried about William & Mary at all.
Yeah, I think I texted you or DM'd you when it was 24-14, and I said, Campbell's kind of hanging in there. That's not welcome to the CAA became, wow. You're at least making it pretty respectable on your end, but the numbers say it all for the grind you out, Joe. 270 yards on the ground for William & Mary on 46 carries, 2 touchdowns there. Longest run of the night, 21 yards. So they're not going to be huge splash plays. And then 2 lost fumbles from Campbell. That hurts you. That's going to suck the momentum out. And then let's just chalk that up to another 3 points. We could. It's still a pretty good victory for William & Mary, but some meat left on the bone for Campbell for sure. But I think that you can have some optimism that if Campbell plays this way against other CAA teams, maybe teams in the 3 or 4 to 8 region, we got some really good games coming out of this team. We have some competitive games to expect after this, because you could say this is the score for any team that's playing William & Mary this year in the CAA. You could say 34-24, William & Mary wins. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me versus Delaware, Stony Brook, Villanova, NCA&T, everybody. That makes sense. So not a bad showing for Campbell.
Yeah, that's kind of the last piece here. I give a lot of credit to Campbell for the way that they played. I know that they lost by 10 points and they were down by 17 at one point, but hard fought. They played them close at the beginning of this game. I give Campbell. Yeah, I think that. See, here's the thing, and this is kind of my final take on this. I think they fit very nicely in the CAA because CAA teams are gritty and CAA teams are chaotic, where a mid-tier or low-tier team in the CAA could upset you on any given week. So very, very fitting for playing in this conference.
I dug it.
Jackson State FAMU, Sean, man, I put this game on, and right off the jump, FAMU runs back a kick, and I was so disappointed with this game. I really thought, and dude, we really broadcasters jinx, the way that.
Oh yeah,
Jason Brown didn't look that good.
That's on me.
Florida State, Florida A&M, deserves to be ranked in the top 20. I really, really liked what I got from them. They capitalized on a lot of mistakes that happened for Jackson State. I think that there is a lot that needs to be worked on. I don't think it's impossible for them to recover and finish with 2 to 3 losses this year. I think it's completely doable, but they need to turn around. And the 28-10 win on paper does not look as ugly as it sounds. But there was a point where I think it was like 28-3, or it might have even been more than that.
Yeah, third quarter, 28-3.
Actually, it was
Jackson State had a
28-0
touchdown.
at halftime.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch the very end of this game, but I caught most of it. Zy McDonald ended up playing some relief for Jason Brown, and he actually had a pretty good performance stepping in, 10 for 14, 149 yards and a touchdown. But, man, it's kind of like, where do you go from here for Jackson State?
Yeah, the Florida A&M defense should get some props. I know we previewed them. They had a pretty the nickname that you brought up was fantastic for them, but two fumbles recovered. Two fumbles recovered. That's massive. That's 2 possessions you're taking away. And just like Campbell, we're looking at it. The 2 teams that lost so far, 2 turnovers. That's what you got. 2 fumbles, 2 turnovers, 2 more possessions for Florida A&M to be able to capitalize. They did. They did a good job. And I think I warned about the emotional dump after having such a massive week 1, high expectation victory where it's congratulations. You did it. You worked all off season for it. You grinded. You deserve to celebrate. You deserve it. But the investment level can be compromised at times where you then you don't take things lightly, but you shouldn't feel like it's a full sigh of relief. Like there should still be something there saying next week, got to get going. Not, oh, we just got past this. Good. Well, okay, cool. And you got past it. New coach, brand new team. You got past it. Huge emotional dump. Let's see what Colorado does next week, because it could be similar. It could be similar to see emotional dump after that. Maybe a little different. I think Deion has those guys locked in. I think TC Taylor tried to have those guys locked in, but you can't take away the mental aspect of having a game in week 1 with that much consequence, because you're going to be judged on it for the rest of the season.
The last part of this, too, and it's kind of like what we expected when we previewed this game, FAMU is just a really well-coached, well-rounded team. And the big thing here is, like, I look at the special team stats, the fact that there was that kickoff return off the jump for a touchdown, and then a different punt returner than the kickoff returner, Jamared Shareed, who had 3 returns for 95 yards and 31.7 yard average. Like, that is phenomenal return capabilities. Like, they are just so well coached on every single level of the football. And the big thing is on defense too, as we talked about. Last game that we're talking about here, Sean, Eastern Washington versus North Dakota State. North Dakota State does as we expect. They pretty handedly beat Eastern Washington in the fashion that we're used to, 35-10. Cole Payton steps in and plays this rotation with Cam Miller where he just gets a ton of carries. He only threw 1 pass and it was an incompletion, but he had a bunch of long runs. He had a pretty nice day running the football. Tamarick Williams, nice day running the football. They're kind of back, dude. And like, no Hunter Lupke, I'm not going to go as far as to say that like they're going to win a national championship this year. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. This is against a pretty weak Eastern Washington team. But hey, man, like they are grind you out. And one of the things I wrote down is, are they stealing the Mississippi State, the Montana State strategy with the Sean Chambers
and Tommy
approach of like, let's get 2 guys that can run and one's going to throw the ball a little bit more than the other. That feels like what they did. That's what they're doing here. They should
adapt because you still have the talent, you still have the strength, you still have top tier FCS recruits, and you have a really, North Dakota State has proven themselves to be year in and year out disciplined, talented, well coached, and effective. And that doesn't mean that you can't adapt, pick up a new scheme, change it up. I mean, their scheme with Trey Lance was different than their scheme with Easton Stick. It was different than their scheme with Carson Wentz. It changes. And if the new, pardon my pro gamer term, if the new meta is what Montana State is doing, I know, I hate that I'm, if that's the new, if that's the new trend, and you've seen the success, and you say, hey, our team is not that different, has the potential to see similar results, go for it. You got strong, fast quarterbacks. You got strong, fast running backs. Mix it up. Keep teams on their toes. You can go into 12, 13 formation, grind them down. But if you're going for a championship, look who's really been competing the last couple of years. Montana State. Go at it. Yeah, North Dakota State. Impressive.
Yeah, I think that now that they have that balance, but like here, actually, I wouldn't call it a balance. They've got a good 1-2 punch, and it's kind of funny to sit here and talk about that with, it's like a thunder and lightning type approach with your quarterbacks, which you don't really talk about because Cam Miller's a little bit smaller, more finesse, and Cole Payton's 6'3", 230, big ass dude, just going to run you over kind of deal. You bring him in those third and short situations. He is perfect for running a little bit of read options, QB power, which we know that they love to do. I think, though, what still needs to be recognized, I don't know how I feel how this team can perform on third and long. Like, I need more proof of that because against South Dakota State, when they have to play them, they're going to need to do that. They're going to need to step up and do that.
Yeah, that's been a concern. I think we've been noting that since we attended that marker game a couple years ago. Third and long, been a little bit tricky. The receivers have not always been, and people are going to say Christian Watson, he was spectacular. Other than that, the receivers have not really been standouts for North Dakota State. They haven't needed to be. They do their jobs very well, but you need somebody that's a little twitchy that can get some separation, or someone big and tall that you can throw it up to. Get a mix going because third and long, it happens in college football. It's hard to stay away from it.
Sean, I'm going to recount FC estimates on the next show before we give our picks on the next show on the preview show. Fat Stats, though, returns. What do we got for Fat Stats?
Fat Stats, a little tough. A lot of FCS versus FBS games this week. So some of the FCS teams didn't do so good. Some stat lines were a little diminished. A lot of 36 total rushing yards that I saw in the box score.
Come on, guys.
It happens. We've been there. We got 3 here. 3 quarterbacks decided to show out in the Fat Stats debut of 2023. Samford quarterback Michael Ayers, 28 for 35, 375 yards, 5 touchdowns. Pretty
He's
good.
back, by the way. Them playing shorter is disgusting.
Yeah, it's tough. But 5 touchdowns, that'll get you on Fat Stats. Fordham quarterback CJ Montez, 24 for 31, 319 yards, 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns will get you on Fat Stats. Third, okay. He's only excited because there's only 3. Wait till I got 13 cooked up for him. He'll be dying to go.
There won't be a football game that we're in the middle of trying to watch.
Lastly, UNH quarterback Max Brosmer, 19 for 25, 284 yards, 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns gets you on Fat Stats.
I think my pick's Ayers. It's easily Ayers.
Yeah, most touchdowns, and then Brosmer had one less incompletion, but I think it has to go to Ayers. 28 for 35, silly stat line. And if you're going to say that he was cheesing against a bad team, okay. I don't care. Fat Stats is what you're going to fill. Look at what we were doing Presbyterian when they were playing and putting up crazy numbers. This is where we play. This is where we're at.
R.I.P. Presbyterian.
Fat Stats.
At Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. We'll be back. Enjoy the rest of your week.